Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday edition of the 4-Star Chicago Sports Podcast. I'm your boy, Sean Lugo. We have a couple of things just to go over really quick. Bears injury report came out for this Sunday, and it is looking like the Chicago Bears are going to be missing a couple of key players, including one notable, Gervon Dexter Jr. This is going to clear the way for a signee of Ryan Poles and a draftee of Ryan Poles, Mr. Chris Williams and Zach Pickens. They're going to be playing on that interior line for the Chicago Bears, trying to make up for what we've lost with Gervon Dexter. Ladies and gentlemen, this game was already looking bleak. Not a big fan of this injury and missing Gervon Dexter in this matchup, especially with the terror that Aaron Jones in his career has run over our Chicago Bears. Also, one thing to keep in mind, sometimes history has a chance of repeating itself. The Chicago Bears' last road victory was November 27th of 2023. It was a Monday night road game at Minnesota. So let's all keep that in mind. Let's keep some thoughts positive. I think the Bears still have a chance here in this game. I know that the bets are coming in hard, taking the Minnesota Vikings -7. That's one of the most popular bets of the week. For me, with DeAndre Swift, it looks like he did practice from this injury report. He had a limited practice on Saturday. He brings in a truly questionable tag. In order for the Bears to have any kind of traction in this ball game, guys, we're going to really have to get run the ball against Minnesota so they can't pin their ears back and just attack Caleb Williams. Can we assert ourselves against Minnesota's run defense on that front line? We certainly weren't able to do it in the first game a couple of weeks ago in Chicago. I think it'll be an even tougher task. But again, get that run game going so they can't pin their ears back and attack the quarterback. I think it's one of the most important keys to the Bears' victory. I am still going to roll with a slight victory by the Minnesota Vikings. I do think the Bears are going to be able to keep this game competitive. As I stated on Wednesday's show, I think the Bears will keep it close. I like the Queens to pull this one out, 31-27. We got a red-hot Sam Darnold over the past 4 games, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He seems to be rolling. Justin Jefferson picked it back up. Jordan Addison absolutely obliterated the Bears in the first game for a career high. That could be another problem as he has not stopped rolling since that game in Chicago. He's just continuing to pick up traction. So this is going to be a tough matchup for the Bears. How do they respond after that gut punch in San Francisco? How does Thomas Brown get this team prepared for this game to show some grit, show some fight? As we said, man, on Wednesday, the Chicago Bears, you got that C on your helmet. You're representing the charter franchise of the NFL. Come out, play with some pride against your NFC North opponent. Try and upset them. Try and spoil their season. The fans deserve it. The organization deserves it. And you guys owe it to yourselves to come out and play with a little bit more pride than you did in San Francisco. I'm still going to take Minnesota. I'm going to like Caleb Williams to continue his play. I think he's going to have a very fantastic game, as you're going to see in some of these prop bets that I have coming up here in just about 30 seconds after we pay some bills here, because I want to remind y'all, this Monday we have our first live event at River Street Tavern, 102 North River Street. Doors will open at 5 o'clock. We're going to be giving away some fantastic prizes. Obviously, I shouldn't say giving away. We're going to be raising money and raffling off some of these great prizes. There's Dan Hampton autographed picture. We have a framed and matted Kevin Butler autograph picture. We got a tremendous DJ Moore touchdown catch from his matchup last year on Thursday night versus the Washington Redskins. We also added, which didn't make the flyer, this wonderful Lance Briggs running out of the tunnel with the smoke show going on. Man, it's going to be a beautiful time to come out. And if the Bears do get beat up, at least we have each other to hang out with. We're doing things for good people, raising money for the less fortunate around the holiday season. And you know what? That should make everyone feel great. Check us out this Monday, 102 North River Street. Doors open at 5 o'clock. For our first live event. 4 Stars Chicago Sports will be present. We're going to make this an enjoyable experience, something that everyone can hopefully remember and want to return to down the road. ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be moving on here to our prop bets for the week. I don't really want to take up too much of your time. I'm enjoying a cup of coffee with y'all. Hope you guys are enjoying a cup of coffee. Get some of these bets down. We got about an hour and a half till kickoff. So let's go. I appreciate Dustin being in here. Breaking news, Bruce. Brando, thanks for the support, guys. Really appreciate y'all. Rolling into what I like in week 15 and my first bet I'm taking off of the table. I did have David Njoku versus the Chiefs, who've just been hemorrhaging yards versus tight ends this year. I'm taking that off. That weather's supposed to be absolutely disgustingly nasty. High winds, up to 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It's supposed to be raining throughout this football game. This looks like a ground and pound 'em. So we're going to ixnay David Njoku. He's also a little banged up with an ankle injury. We're just going to stay away from this game altogether. And when we do this, we try to put fantasy in with prop bets. I try and do this every Sunday. So this is going to be my first prop bet in a what would say not such an advantageous matchup for Jonnu Smith, but I do like him over his 46 receiving yards. This guy for fantasy has over the past 4 weeks has had 21-point performances 3 times and no less than 13.2 points any other time in the last 6 weeks. He faces this Texas defense that's making him a top 10 tight end once again. Since week 9, their defense has allowed 11 plus points to 2 players at the position in the same game, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And then they have not yet faced a truly elite tight end. They will this week. Roll with Jonnu Smith over 46 receiving yards. We're going to take a trip down over to Carolina, where we have 2 running backs in this game that I'm going to hammer down, and I actually already have. I got Chuba Hubbard at 76. He's now up to 79. I've seen him on up to 81 rush yards. He may even be past that. I did not look this morning. I like him up to about 85 rushing yards. He's truly exceeded expectations throughout this entire season. He's got a nice matchup against this Cowboys defense, who's allowed the 5th most fantasy points to running backs this season. There's no competition. Miles Sanders sucks, guys. Jonathan Brooks blew his AC out last week. This looks like a full workload and a terrific matchup. Feel confident putting Chuba Hubbard into your lineup. You may even want to throw him in as an anytime touchdown scorer in this football game. His counterpart in this football game is Rico Dowdle, and he has been red hot. He's fresh off of back-to-back 100-yard performances, and he's now averaging 110 rushing yards and almost 6 yards per carry over his last 3. We all know about this Carolina defense, guys. It's 31st in the league. The only defense worse is the Dallas Cowboys. So you should fire up both of these running backs, feel real confident about both of them, and roll them out. As we continue on the running back train, we're going to head up to the great white north, where the team that we hate so much, the Green Bay Packers, will be taking on the Seattle Seahawks at 7:20 on NBC's Game of the Week. They have Zach Charbonnet at 61 rushing yards. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to tell you this right now. The Packers have been hemorrhaging rushing yards, 2 running backs. Charbonnet is coming off a 38.3-point fantasy week last year. In the 3 starts, and when Kenneth Walker was out in 2024, he's finished as RB7, RB8, and RB1 last week. Over the past 8 weeks, the Packers have allowed the 6th most fantasy points, 2 running backs. This includes 6 backs who have scored 14 or more points. I feel very confident. Roll Zach Charbonnet. I'm even taking Seattle in the upset tonight on the money line. Let's go Seahawks. Let's ruin this Packers season. I'm going to stay with one more running back for y'all. We got Brian Robinson playing the hapless New Orleans Saints. The Saints defense all year has been lackluster against the run. They've allowed the 8th most fantasy points per game. 2 running backs. Austin Eckler, my friends, is on injured reserve, and it looks like Nichols and Rodriguez have been used sparingly. And you have Brian Robinson's over. I got it at 70 yesterday. That has eclipsed itself up to, I believe, 79. It's went up about 9 yards. I believe I got this one on Thursday, excuse me. I still feel confident with that. I think the Redskins will run this ball. I think they're going to take advantage of a very depleted New Orleans Saints roster. And the guy, I think this should be easy. I also have Brian Robinson in my anytime touchdown parlay today. I think he'll touch pay dirt. The guy I am kind of frowning upon, and not because I'm going up against him in my fantasy matchup, is Alvin Kamara this week. Miller made an appearance last week. He looked really good, but you have a backup quarterback. I believe Spencer Rattler is going to be starting today for the New Orleans Saints. They have absolutely no receivers left. This is a full Alvin Kamara drop. I just think that the Washington Redskins are going to be able to zone in on this guy, shut him down. Obviously, you have to throw him in your fantasy lineups. I'm just saying, buyer beware with our boy Alvin Kamara, who, again, has had a fantastic season. Just don't like him today against Washington. Even though this is in New Orleans, I just think that their defense, again, is going to zone in, shut him down, and take him out. As we continue to roll through, I have a couple of wide receivers. And again, I am going to have to take Jerry Jeudy off of this list. He was one of my top starts of the week. He opened at 60 yards, and I had him playing to about 70. Surprisingly, the Chiefs' pass defense has been among the worst since about week 7, and they've allowed slot receivers the second most receiving yards in the league since that time. But with this rain and this weather coming in, I think this is going to be a ground and pound them. I'm actually don't know what Isaiah Pacheco's number is, and I can look that up before we get out of here. I'm going to definitely ride his over. This absolutely seems like a game where you're going to get a lot of Kareem Hunt, a lot of Pacheco. You'll probably see a lot of Jerome Ford. You'll probably see a lot of Nick Chubb, especially if these winds that they're saying are sustained at 25 miles plus with sustained downpours throughout this ball game. This could be a messy, sloppy, low scoring, hand the ball off, not a lot of passing in this ball game. So we're going to ixnay Jerry Jeudy. We're taking him off the list this week, folks, but we're going to take a trip down into Jacksonville, where we have Aaron Rodgers and the New Orleans Jets visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely excited about this matchup. I actually did a little parlay. I took Aaron Rodgers over his prop of 224, which I believe is now up to about 228, which I still feel confident with. I have Davante Adams over 60, playing him the 65, and I'm also taking his counterpart on the other side. His name is slipping my mind right now. I cannot believe this. Gosh darn it, why can't I think of his name? Kyle, somebody help me out in the chat. On the other side of the ball, Garrett Wilson, there he is. I have him paired with Aaron Rodgers, and over 59, over 224, and then the over 60, playing it to 70 for Davante Adams. He's been red hot, coming in strong these last couple of weeks. He's finally figured it out with the Jets. He's got 43.5 fantasy points in his last 2 games. He's also received 23 targets over the past couple of weeks. I mean, this is a virtual must start, must lock, must bet play. This defense has allowed the 4th most fantasy points, 2 wideouts, not to mention the 4th most perimeter receivers. This should be a huge Davante Adams day. And again, I also love me some Garrett Wilson in on this afternoon. Another guy that I'm going to run with, and I've been running with every single week that we've been doing this for, I shouldn't say every week, about the last 6 weeks, has been Calvin Ridley. And he has not let me down once. He's hit his prop, his over, every 5 out of the last 6 weeks. He did have that bummer 4 catches of 45 yards 2 weeks ago. But outside of that, this guy has been perfect. He's been hitting his props. He's been getting the targets. I know Westbrook has been stealing some touchdowns, but you have to look at it this way. He's finishing with almost 9 fantasy points per week. So this is also a very good flex start for you. The one important takeaway that I have again is Ridley is still dominated targets. He's getting a 38% target share, and he's earned 30% of all target share since DeAndre Hopkins has left the team. This is big numbers. This is a great matchup for Calvin Ridley today. Feel confident. Over 60, play him to 70. I know it's a little rugged, but you can get that 60, over 60 and minus 140 right now. It's a beautiful bet for you, and I love it. My play of the week is actually going to be in a prop bet that I can't even imagine is out there right now is going to be David Montgomery. I saw this on a couple of other shows. I actually bet this on Thursday when I saw it. David Montgomery over 15 and a half receiving yards. You can play that up to 17 here, guys. I'm going to let you guys know that since week 6, he's been over 20 receiving yards every single week. He's highly integrated into this offense. I also have him as an anytime touchdown scorer. My actual parlay for that game, I have David Montgomery over 15 and a half receiving yards, David Montgomery anytime touchdown, Josh Allen anytime touchdown, and Josh Allen over 40 rushing yards. I love Josh Allen taking off in this football game. Single high safeties that they're going to play for Detroit. They're going to have their backs. They're going to have their backs to Josh Allen. Josh Allen erupted last week. And let's just face it, guys, this 54 and a half is the highest point total of the week of 2024. The Lions average 32 points a game. The Bills average 30 points a game. Together, that's 62 points. Overs 54. I don't see anything that's going to stop either of these teams from absolutely erupting. This is a showcase game. I wish it was on Sunday Night Football. I can't wait. Guys, I know, not going to be a popular pick with the masses, but I threw some money on the Bills on the money line, plus 140. The spread opened at 1.5. It's now 2.5 in favor of the Lions. But for those that are new to gambling here, 3 points just simply means it's a home field advantage. I think this is a game is a pick 'em on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, I will give the Bills a slight edge, but I don't think it's that much. So take what you will from there. Sticking in that football game, my long shot of the week here, and it's not really a long shot because Khalil Shakur has been a PPR machine for the Bills. I really love him today against this boomer bust Lions secondary. They're allowing top 3 receivers to have tremendous days against them every single week. Khalil Shakur also is 265 yards away from a 1,000-year receiving season. I think Josh Allen will pepper him 5, 6, 7, 8 targets, something like that he'll probably turn into 70, 80 yards. Touchdown for me for Khalil Shakur. A little tough. He's not really a touchdown machine. He got tackled last week just shy of the end zone. So I'm not going to be feeling confident throwing that out there. But I will say I'm going back. I'm going to wrap this up, put a bow on it, ladies and gentlemen, with the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings Monday night game. My 3 favorite bets in that particular football game on Monday night. Well, hopefully y'all will be joining us at River Street Tavern, 102 North River Street for 4 Stars first live event tomorrow evening. I have a guy who killed us in the first matchup and a position that's been killing the Bears all season. It's going to be TJ Hawkinson over 41 receiving yards. He's been so efficient since his return to this lineup. Now, as a full-time player, he's got about 72% of the route share after running less than 50 in his first 3 comeback games. He's got a fantastically amazing matchup against the Chicago Bears, whose pass defense has struggled since week 6 against tight ends. They're 27th in EPA and dead last in yards per against tight ends. This is an absolute fantastic matchup. I expect Darnold to pepper him, look at him often, and take it to the Bears at that position. The next one I have is going to be my boy Caleb Williams. He threw for 330 yards against these guys last time. And I believe he's going to continue to replicate that against us with this game plan. Get into the ball out quickly. Keenan Allen had a fantastic game. He had 80 yards. Roma Dunze had 10 targets in that game. DJ Moore is where I'm going to take you for my next one. DJ Moore finished in his last game. He caught 7 passes for 106 and a touchdown against the Vikings. Since the firing of Shane Waldron, he has averaged over 23 plus fantasy points over his last 3 games. That was skewed a little bit last week with his 10.9 point performance against the Niners. I'm still liking him because the Vikings defense has struggled against perimeter receivers, allowing the 3rd most per game at the position since week 7. He's a veteran. He's reliable. He's DJ Moore. He's my GOAT. He's a national treasure. Let's get it. I still have the Bears losing this game. I have them keeping it competitive in this football game. DJ Moore should get some points. Keenan Allen should get some points. But like I said when I opened the show, the key if the Bears are going to upset this Vikings team is be able to establish this run. Get this run going early. Pin their ears back so they can't pin their ears back and come after Caleb Williams. You can keep them honest. You can keep them rolling. I really, really like the Bears' chances to pull this upset. And if the Bears can be in a similar situation where they have the ball in Caleb Williams' hands at the end of this football game, I don't believe the Vikings defense, if you can get that ball out and move that ball, is good enough to stop the Bears consistently. I'm going to think we're going to come back. We're going to keep it close. I'll keep my fingers crossed on a Bears win. I'm still leaving my Bears prediction as the Bears, the Queens 31, the Bears 27. As I said earlier, I do like Seattle in the upset in Green Bay in the frozen tundra tonight. I love you, Brandon. Garrett Wilson can be easy to forget sometimes. And Brando can be with us. He's a little busy today, but he is liking Cortland Sutton. He's gone over 71 in 5 of his last 6 games. That's another little nice bet that 4 stars can put out there. Anything else? Jameis was good in the snow. But the rain is much worse. I agree. I'm taking everything out of that, Brando. I'm gonna be honest. My other long shot was Noah Gray over 25 receiving yards. That I guess could still hit if he cuts a little dump off and he gets some yak. I just when you got those 25 mile per hour winds and 60% chance of rain throughout the ball game, I'm not falling in love with it. I decided to just walk away from that game altogether. Whoever's run game I'm going to say is going to be most dominant is probably going to roll through that football game. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pull this up just before we get out of here because I forgot to give you my anytime touchdown scores of the week. And oh my Lord. Let's see. Who do we got rolling in here? I know I have Derrick Henry. I have Brian Robinson. I have Joe Mixon. My favorite plus 130 that I got after all the rigmarole that went down in Philadelphia. I have A.J. Brown, anytime touchdown score. I actually did a nice little parlay with A.J. Brown, over 4.5 receptions, over 80 receiving yards, and an anytime touchdown. It was nice little like plus 212. I threw $50 on it, just something individual. I think people tend to forget that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are really, really good friends off the field. Sometimes your frustrations blow over in the media and you say things like it's the passing game, and maybe it is, and maybe you should have kept that in-house. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I like they're going to pepper him. The secondary for the Steelers can be had. This is going to be a fantastic football game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So stay tuned. All the good games are at 3:25. We got some layups at noon here today. I'll still be checking them out because I'm going against Jamar Chase in my fantasy matchup. So I'm gonna try and stay alive. I have 2 anytime touchdown score parlays. My first one is Mixon, Henry, and then I did Josh Allen and David Montgomery. As I said, and I do have a correction. I'm sorry. I took the Eagles minus 2.5. A.J. Brown anytime touchdown score and A.J. Brown over 70 yards. And that one was 50 to win 200. My 5-pick anytime touchdown score parlay: Brian Robinson Jr., Derrick Henry, David Montgomery, A.J. Brown, and my boy Zach Charbonnet, who's hopefully leading me to a fantasy championship over the next couple of weeks, especially if Kenneth Walker Jr. doesn't get back out. In this Bills game, I did a few different parlays in this Bills game. I got Josh Allen over 40 rushing, David Montgomery over anytime touchdown, and Khalil Shakur over 58 receiving yards. I also threw down Josh Allen over 40 rushing yards, David Montgomery anytime touchdown, Josh Allen anytime touchdown, and Khalil Shakur over 58.5 receiving yards. I'm really tempted to throw in some Amari Cooper in there. I just didn't do it. I love that the possession receiver, Khalil Shakur, he's been a main target. Like I said, 265 yards left to get to 1,000. He's had a fantastic year for the Buffalo Bills, and I think that's going to continue against Detroit. And I just did a separate all on its own bet. I took the actually no, I'm looking at it right here. I took a two team upset parlay, the Green Bay or the Seattle Seahawks and the Buffalo Bills, both on the money line. My big parlay of the day, I'm going to throw down a 9-pick parlay. That's Charbonnet over 61.5, Brian Robinson over 70, Devontae Adams over 60 receiving, Derrick Henry anytime touchdown, Barkley anytime touchdown. Going back to that Bills game, I got David Montgomery over 16.5 receiving yards. I have Khalil Shakur over 50 receiving yards. Then we'll cap that off on Monday night in this 9-pick parlay with TJ Hawkinson over 41 receiving and my goat, DJ Moore over 56.5 receiving yards. So, and I do agree with you, Brando. Mixon is automatic. General Manager John, thanks for checking in, man. And hey, I like all those matchups, man. I really do. Chuba Hubbard, I think Chuba's going to have a big day for you today. Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels. I mean, McLaurin's had a solid year, general manager. I mean, he really has. And I was starting him in our league that I'm in with Brando over here. And, he did well for me. I actually traded for him during the middle of the season. And I can't remember who I traded to acquire him. It was Drake London. It was Drake London, actually. And hell, he actually turned out to be really, really, really good for me. But unfortunately, because I had the Arizona defense and James Cook crapped the bed, I missed the last playoff spot in that league. But I did get one bye, and I am playing in a first-round matchup. And here, I have General Manager John, and I got Brandon. I got you guys at least in here. I'm having a dilemma, guys. I'm having a big dilemma in my playoff matchup today. I've had a couple votes to say take out Calvin Ridley. So out of these 7, I can only start one. I got Charbonnet's definite start. Ricard White, I'm on the fence. DJ Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Calvin Ridley, JSN, and Breece Hall. One of them has to come out. Do I throw in Breece Hall with this injury? He was my top pick. I know they say come playoff time, you always start your first round picks. Calvin Ridley has such a plus matchup against Cincinnati. It's almost making me sick that I'm thinking about taking him out. Do I take Ricard White out because they have announced that Bucky Irvin is going to be starting? I did say Ricard White, Brandon. So again, those choices are Zach Charbonnet, Ricard White, DJ Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Calvin Ridley, Jackson Smith, Nick Jigba, and Breece Hall. One has to come out. And this is I agree, and that's my problem, General Manager. I'm looking at that plus matchup with Ridley. Breece Hall is coming back. He was my top pick. I got Brando saying take out Ricard White. Kyle told me to take out Ricard White. I had the fantasy guru tell me Calvin Ridley. I'm like torn. I'm like torn from every edge. So I'm getting the most take out Ricard White and leave in. You know what? I'm going to take out White against the Chargers. It's on the road, and I'm going to put in Breece Hall. I just did it. I don't know how confident I am. The good thing for me is I went against Garendo on Thursday, and he only wound up getting 9 points against me. So if there is a bitter end to this, and I only get 9 points against Jacksonville out of Breece Hall, I guess I'll have to look at it as just a wash. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a lot of fun. I gotta get some lineup set. Inactives and actives are about to hit the wall. So we're about to find out some of these players that are going to be in, that are going to be out, that are going to make or break your week 15. What's going on, MS? Thanks for checking in, brother. I really appreciate it. I agree with that, Brandon. I really do, man. I am confident knowing that Hall is far better than White, regardless of the situation. It just makes me scary that if Bucky Irvin were to get hurt, come out of that game like he did last week, Ricard White blew up and had 23 fantasy points. Thank God I didn't need him because Josh Allen and Charbonnet carried the load last week. So, and I have a feeling that Josh Allen's going to carry the load for me this week, man. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited. I got a chance to take on a very, very tough competitor. We split on the season. I'm going up against Jalen Hurts, Kamara, Jamar Chase, Jaden Reed, Travis Kelce, Zay Flowers, DeAndre Swift tomorrow, and the Texans D versus Miami. I got the Broncos for Najigba Ridley. I have to start Noah Gray because there's just no tight ends to pick up, man. So I'm just kind of praying that maybe this guy catches like 2 1-yard touchdowns or something today. Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore. I just threw in Hall to pair with Charbonnet. And of course, my GOAT, my favorite quarterback in the league, Josh Allen. Gonna run him back. Hopefully get me this victory this week, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody got any bets they like? I'll run through mine really quick before I get out of here. Really quick. I had for the early part of this, I had Jonnu Smith over 46 receiving yards, Chuba Hubbard over 79, play at the 85 rushing yards. Rico Dowd, I got him over 79, play him to about 85 as well. Zach Charbonnet over 61 against that porous run Packers run defense. Brian Robinson Jr. over 70 rushing yards, excuse me. Devontae Adams over 60. I'd play that up to 65, maybe even 70 for Devontae Adams. He has been absolutely a target monster for Aaron Rodgers over the past couple of weeks. DJ Moore on Monday night over 56. We have Calvin Ridley over 60. And I did dumb that down. He was at 69. I took that down to 60. TJ Hawkinson over 41 receiving yards. And my play of the week is David Montgomery over 15.5 receiving yards. I'd play that all the way up to 20. He has not had less than 20 receiving yards in any football game since week 6 of this season. My quarterbacks I love Aaron Rodgers over 224 passing yards down there in Jacksonville. I play that probably up to 227, 228. And Caleb Williams prop at 216. I love that as well. I probably play that up to about 230. I think he's going to have a fantastic day. My long shot of the week, not so long shot of the week, was Khalil Shakur over 56 yards. As I stated, he needs 265 yards to hit that 1,000-yard mark on the season. He's been a great target for Aaron, for Josh Allen all year. I don't see any of that changing. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be an absolutely fun, fantastic, amazing football game at 3:25. I'm so happy I have 2 TVs because I get to watch Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and Buffalo and Detroit at the same time. It's going to be amazing. I just want to say, man, thank y'all for joining me. We have some of our 4 stars were down. Dustin and Brandon had some prior obligations. We got Kyle nursing an entire sick family right now. So we want to wish Kyle's family to get better, get well quickly. Brandon and Dustin, love y'all, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow at our first live show at River Street Tavern, 102 North River Street, East Dundee. We're raising money for charity, guys. We're going to have so much fun out there. Even if the Chicago Bears can't pull this victory out, you at least get to hang out with us, have a good time, and enjoy some football, man. And we love to shoot the shit with some of y'all and put some of these comments to some faces, man. We'd love to see y'all come out. So thank you guys for spending a little time with me, enjoying that cup of coffee on a Sunday morning. Bear down, everybody. Let's get these Bears. Let's get this Bears victory. Let's upset the Queens in Minnesota. I really appreciate you, Brando. I really do. And like I said, let's get this upset victory. Let's surprise everyone at our first get-together, our first live showing at River Street Tavern, and upset for the Bears. Just remember, their last road win was last year in Minnesota on a Monday night. Let's history repeat itself. Bear down, everybody. Until tomorrow, I love y'all. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And we'll see y'all tomorrow night, baby. Let's go. Bear down, everybody.